What's going on, you guys? It's your girl Naj Brene. If you hear my heater in the background, I'm sorry. It's freezing down in my room, but there's no Rice Krispie time, no singing and dancing in the beginning, because this is gonna be more of a serious video. I'm not gonna edit this too much either, so hold on, let me turn this off because it's actually kind of loud. I'm actually like really nervous talking about this. I haven't shared this with anybody except for like my close friends and my family who I'm like really close to. This video, I decided I've been nervous about making this video. I'm like, you know what? I know so many people going through what I go through, or what I'm going through right now, and I figured sharing my experience and how I feel would, help someone else out, to let them know, like so you feel like you're not alone, because you're not alone. I don't even know how to start this. Well, recently I've been diagnosed with a mild depression. It started really just issues with like my dad, and you know how people are, because not people, but you know how people don't have their father active in their life, and mine wasn't really active. He'd be in and out, and then he's just I'm gonna try my best not to cry. Don't get me wrong, like I love my dad. No matter like what he's done, he is my dad. I'm not gonna say I hate him. I mean, hate is a strong word. I do. He's my dad, but I'm not gonna say exactly because it's a little too personal. But over the years, it's always been me trying to force a relationship with my father, and one minute it'll be okay, and the next it just wasn't it. Like, one minute he's acting like father of the year, the next he's distant, and he'll just like disappear. I think the last time I even spoke to my father was 2019. It was the last time I really like spoke to and seen my father. It was the middle of 2019. It's 2021 now. I'm 22, about to be 23 soon. And I didn't realize, like I knew I was. And it's sad to say, but I've been going through this with my dad since I was 5 years old. I've been battling depression since I was 5 years old. And it's not all my father, but he does play a big part in why I was just so depressed. And then in school, it was always hard in school because I wasn't like the other kids. I wasn't into, like the sports, and well, at the time I wasn't, but I wasn't really like into, doing basketball and football and, all that stuff, normal kids do. No, me, I was into wrestling and drawing and writing, and I was always top of my classes, like, and then I used to get bullied a lot just for that, because I was different. And I used to sit there and cry. This is as a kid, and I hate that kids go through this now, and it's worse. Damn it, I was really trying not to cry. I would sit there as a kid, you know, just wondering, like, what's wrong with me? Like, why are these people treating me so differently? And I would, like, force myself to try to fit in. Like, oh, I tried doing sports. I tried, you know, try to fit in with all the cool kids. Oh, God. It's just, I used to get bullied a lot for the way I looked. People would judge me because that they would say, like, because I'm not skinny like my friends. I'm the ugly fat friend, you know. And this is as a kid up until maybe like college. I'm 22, y'all. People used to make fun of me because my mole, and for a long time I did not feel like I was pretty because I had this big mole, and I thought, like, okay, well, maybe they'll like me if I just got rid of it. Like, if I just go home and just cut it off, people would come up to me and like the stupid Austin Powers movie, the mully, they would do that, ask me to cut it off. Oh, you'd be so pretty without your mole. I think then we moved. The new school, I finally found some people I could like semi fit in with, but I was always different. I always got bullied. People would always tell me, Nacha, you're worthless. Nacha, you don't belong here. Nacha, you're excuse my language, you're fucking weird. You don't deserve to be here. Why aren't you dead yet? And this, I would get these all the time from middle school. So even now, to be honest, there were time frames I did used to self-harm. It's because it's just the bullying and on and off with my dad, and I used to self-harm. I used to say, lay up at night just thinking like, oh, you know, maybe if I just take this knife, right? I just take these pills and just and everybody would be better off without me. Yes, I used to have, I just have a lot of suicidal thoughts, and it would just be on and off. It was just a lot, like, it's just not even just kids in school get bullied by family members too. I'm not gonna say who, I'm not gonna like air anybody out in this because I wouldn't be able to handle it right now. But yeah, I used to get bullied a lot, just not in school, but like family too. And then I had an uncle who was basically like my father figure, and he would always be there. Like if I was upset, he would be there. And then I remember, because it was 8th grade, I was in 8th grade, and he passed away due to I think it was a lung issue. I don't remember exactly, but he passed away, and it took a huge toll on me. It took the hugest toll on me, and the depression really sat in more when he passed. Like I wasn't God. Like, I wouldn't talk to my friends. I was less active in school. I started doing poorly academically in school. Like, I wasn't making honor roll anymore. I'll just like isolate myself from everybody and everything. I wasn't doing things I love to do anymore. Yeah, it was just one big hard hit that it took a really big toll on me. And that was like the first death of my family that like really just like, you know, that I knew, and we were so close. It was my Uncle Gilbert, but when I was younger, this is so stupid, but it was a nice little inside joke. So I used to call I have a whole lot of aunts, so when I was little, I used to call my Uncle Gilbert, I used to call him Aunt Dad. And it just stuck, and I've always called him Aunt Dad, you know, because I called him Aunt Dad, like, because he was just like an amazing father figure in my life, and it was like, it hurt to lose someone so close to me like that as a father figure, because I clung on to him, because, you know, me and my father we don't have the best relationship, and I don't think we ever will be, to be honest, but that took a big hit on me. And then a year later, lost my great grandma. She lived an amazing life, but yeah, that also took a huge toll on me. She had well, we called her Teeny Weeny, because she didn't want to be called grandma, so we called her Teeny Weeny. And I was her Tinky Poo. And I remember she was so, the stories I heard, I don't believe these stories because she was like so crazy, but I remember her just being so full of life, and then she had her first stroke, and then we would still go visit her from time to time. Me and my sister and my little cousins, we would go to see her, and even though we couldn't really understand what she was saying, I would always go over to her and be like, "Hey, Teeny Weeny," and she would just like, "Hey, Tinky Poo," or just Tinky Poo, and it would just make my day. Just seeing her, just her being able to say Tinky Poo, like I was her Tinky Poo. That took another, because I still wasn't over losing my uncle, and then exactly a year later, lose your great grandma, who you also had a great relationship with. Stroke and all, even though she didn't remember a lot, she remembered her little Tinky Poo. I turn the heater back on, it's freezing in here. Okay, fast forward to high school. You know, high school, this is when I started to like dabble in relationships and all that. A lot of the relationships I was getting, I was getting verbally abused in a lot of relationships, and I would let it happen because I would think, oh, this person loves me, so it's okay for them to do this to me. And please know that is not okay. If you're ever getting any kind of verbal, mental, physical abuse, and maybe hard to leave, but please leave that situation. You deserve so much better. Male, female, you're queens and kings, and you deserve so much better. Do not take that. Please learn from me. Do not take that. I was just always getting, you know, cheated on. I would get verbally abused. There was one ex. God. One ex actually did, like, physically used to, every time I tried to, if I wanted to leave because he was verbally abusive, he would, you know, put his hands on me. Um, I won't get too into that, but I played a huge part of it. That's another big part of yeah, I'm not gonna get into that. And then this day that really just set in stone and impacted everything. This day is etched into my brain. April 13th, 2019. I wasn't working at the time yet, but I was home. I don't remember what time it was, but I remember I was home, and my grandma called me, and it was early. She usually never calls like early in the morning, but in my brain I wasn't thinking it was something. Something happened. She called me. She wanted to make sure I was sitting down, and she told me that my cousin Faraj passed away. And I was just in shock. I didn't react right away when she told me he passed away, and I remember sitting there on the phone, just quiet. And I remember it, and I think that after we got off the phone, I called my mom and told my mom, and I started bawling. It hit me then telling my mom that my best friend, and until I called my mom and said his friend passed away. He was my big cousin, my best friend. We were always like attached to him. When we were kids, we got along. I was his Naja, and he was my best friend. He was more than a cousin. He was my best friend. I got the news. I wasn't eating. I wasn't sleeping. It was just like somebody punched a big old bullet through my chest. That's when I felt my depression start to slowly kick back in, because I didn't know what to do. I lost my best friend, and I didn't feel that kind of pain until losing. Like, I felt that kind of pain was in my uncle. I did not feel that kind of pain again until he was gone. And it was because months prior, I buried my Aunt Stephanie. She lost her battle to leukemia, and that was a hard one as well. But losing my cousin, my best friend, was probably the hardest I've ever taken. Anybody passing away. And I remember this funeral, just doing the last goodbye and standing over him, and I lost it. I was depressed after the funeral. I was depressed for a long time. There was times I just wanted to call him, and just like I couldn't call him. I took his death really, really hard. We were really inseparable as kids, and he was really my best friend. He meant so much to me, and to lose someone just so suddenly. He was only 24. Like, to lose someone so suddenly like that. You never know what's going on with people. Like, a part of me feels guilty. Like, I wish I could have you know, been there more, talked to him more than I already did, or seen him more. I felt so guilty for a long time. I was like, you know, well, maybe I could have been there for him, you know. That was when I really started to kick back into the depression again, losing my best friend. Leading up to now, I just getting just bullied a lot, and just bullied a lot by family and threats and people telling me to just basically, you know, end your life. Not just you're not worth it. End your life. You don't mean anything. Nobody will miss you when you're gone. And it was going on for months, and it got so bad to the point where I was like, you know what, maybe they're right. Maybe they're right. Maybe I don't matter. Maybe I do need to end my life. And I told my best friend that I was getting tired of it, and it was just building up, and I was just getting so tired of it, and I'm gonna do it, and nobody's gonna stop me. So right as I was starting to do it, the police came to the door. They told me I could go in voluntarily or involuntarily. They asked me if I was okay, and I admitted that I wasn't okay. And I went voluntarily. They put me in handcuffs, and we drove to the hospital. It was voluntarily, so I should have been able to leave if I wanted to leave, like after visiting like the crisis center. But yeah, we took me to the hospital. But at this point, I was freaking out. I was shaking. I was having a really bad anxiety attack because I've never been 302 before. I've never been 302, so it's like actually it's really scary. Or is it a 2? Or is it 202 or 203? I don't know. I've never been 302 before, and I was like afraid, and I was scared, and I remember we was sat in the hospital room, well, the room they gave me, for about 3 hours. 3 hours. I took a COVID test, and then another one because the lady dropped my swab. Then they took me to the crisis center, and then there you're not allowed to have, like, I had a hoodie on. They take your hoodie, and you're a woman, TMI, they take your bra if it has wire in it, so, and they give you a hospital gown. And I was in there. They kept me overnight so I could talk to the doctor in the morning, just in case I would go home and try to, harm myself again. Then in the morning, I spoke to one doctor. She told me to wait until the morning doctor came to get a final analysis for, if I would be able to go home. And I started to freak out now on the inside because I was like, I came voluntarily. I'm supposed to be able to just walk out the door. I was supposed to be able to just walk out the door. I waited 3 hours just hiding in this little room that just reminded me of like a jail cell. I sat in my room for like 3 hours. The morning doctor came and basically told me that he was going to 302 me, and I needed to go to the psych ward. And I immediately started to cry. I said I came voluntarily. I should be able to go home. and I either had to sign voluntarily to go to the psych ward, or he was gonna sign me off to take me to the psych ward, and I'd have to be there longer. So I signed, and that night, it was 12:30 at night, they took me to the psych ward. They let me keep, I had leggings on, they let me keep my leggings and my shoes. Got another test. It took me to my room. I had a roommate, and I didn't really sleep that first night. I was scared. There were people there. I've never seen schizophrenic people. I've never seen a schizophrenic person ever in my life, and it was just so scary. It was just everything would always happen at night. There would be people having episodes, and you would hear them being tackled by security, and they would put them in the quiet room. They would inject them with, I forget what they injected them with. They would inject them with some kind of medicine to calm you down, and they would put them in a quiet room. The quiet room is literally just a cell with a mattress in it. I've never been in there, but I'm so glad I did it. There's always somebody having episodes, people banging their heads and fists and kicking the walls, and somebody broke the fire alarm so people could leave. There was a girl with schizophrenia. She would just scream every 2 hours, and it was always at night. She would scream, and it was so scary. There were people with bipolar disorders. It was one guy who walked down the hallway, and he would just peek at my room and just stand there. It was so scary in there. I knew, but it forced me to get the help that I needed to get. And I wish I would have gotten the help sooner before having to go into the psych ward. I could talk about the whole experience in the psych ward. I was in there from, I was in the hospital for over a week. It was New Year's. I spent my New Year's evening, day, away from my family. I get emotional after calling my mom and my best friend. It was just really hard being away from everybody. And they put me on antidepressants. It was just hard. It was just really hard being in there. I felt like I didn't belong in there. I didn't belong in there. There's people with actual behavioral issues, and then there's little old me who didn't see it, and to any of the pain and suffering I was going through. And they had this thing called it was called a court, mental health court, where you sat and talked to a bunch of doctors. And the doctors would determine if you were able to go home or not. Thankfully, I didn't have to do the mental health court, but if I did, oh God, I wouldn't wish going to the psych ward on any of me. I would say just get the help you need. Take it from me and take it from my experience. It's hard to admit you need help. And I didn't admit I needed help until now, 22 years old. I didn't admit that I needed help. I wish I didn't have to go to the psych ward to realize it's okay to ask for help, but it's okay to ask for help. And I was like, I spoke to my mom about this, and I felt like, you know what, it may be a good idea to at least like share parts of my experience, you know, just in case anybody else is going through this, anybody else has been through this. Just know that everything is gonna be okay. Your life is worth living. You matter. Even if you may not think you matter, you matter to a lot of people. A lot of people would be upset without you. And it's okay. It's okay to ask for help. You won't look weak, you won't look sad, you won't look stupid, none of that. It's okay to ask for help. Even if you don't want to talk to like your family, you talk to your closest friend. Hell, I'm a stranger on the internet. You can, like, I encourage people to at least come to me if you're ever feeling that way, or feeling down, upset, depressed, suicidal, you feel like harming yourself. I've been there. And I don't want my experience to be someone else's experience. I wouldn't wish a trip to the psych ward on anybody. Oh yeah, I actually wanted to give a shout out to a couple of people who have helped me through this. First and foremost, my mom, my aunt Brandy, my aunt Keisha, my grandparents, my best friend Dion, Jazz, DJ, Zach, Crystal Eve, and Carmen, Speed, Danny, Nate. You guys helped me more than you can ever imagine. And I genuinely love and appreciate every last one of you. Even if you think you didn't do anything, you've done everything you possibly could to even just help me, or even put a smile on my face to let me know that everything is okay. I genuinely I love to crap out of all of you guys. You guys mean the absolute world to me. And I felt like I needed to share this experience with you guys. Because mental health is important. You have to take care of yourself. Because if you don't love yourself, you can't expect someone else to love you. And it took that for me to realize that I need to take better care of myself. I need to love myself. I need to do things for myself. Yeah, I wouldn't wish going to the psych ward on anybody. But just know there are multiple ways to help. There's it sounds stupid, but the suicide prevention hotline that helps. Talking to your mom, dad, grandparent, family member, best friend, me, anybody. My DMs are always open, and I hope this video has helped anybody else, that feels the same way, that has felt the same way I felt. They felt like there was no end, but trust me, there's always a light at the end of the tunnel. You may not see it now, but you are a beautiful, beautiful human being. And you deserve to be here more than anything else. And I love you guys, and I'll see you guys in the next video.